like so many things, unfortunately, as we get older, we have more challenges, and one of those can sometimes be our hearing, and it can fail us in many different ways. We're going to be talking about tinnitus today, and from Amazing Hearing, we want to welcome Ann Mundell-Noel and Gabby Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So tinnitus, am I saying it right? What is tinnitus? I've always said tinnitus.
So tinnitus, tinnitus, they're both correct.
Okay.
So there's no wrong answer. You got it right there. So, yep, the ringing in the ears, tinnitus, that's the name of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I actually have tinnitus. I always had a ringing in my ears. I went to a million concerts when I was a kid, and a loud music. I know what the source was. But where does it come from everybody? Is it just always kind of impactful, loud noises that are damaging the ear, or are there other ways?
So when you went to that concert and you came away from it with the loud ringing in your ears, that was your brain telling you, hey, you're hurting me, get out of here.
Okay.
And so usually after a couple days, did it then go away for you?
When I was younger.
Right, when you were younger. Because what happens is the brain kind of the body can recover. But as you get older and you keep damaging those hairs, they can only take so much trauma, and then that loss is permanent in that area, and that's where that ringing is coming from.
Okay, so how many people have this condition in the world, or is it in our society?
A lot. Yeah,
About 50 million.
50 million or so.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And so is it kind of just a cumulative thing? Is it a lot of people are going to get it, or it's, a certain percentage are just bound to get it because of the work they do, or maybe work in construction, running jackhammers, military explosions, things like that?
It can be caused by so many different things. Hearing loss is the #1 cause of tinnitus, but your medication, your diet, how much you're exercising, stress, all these things really play a factor. So just like we said, sometimes it goes away, sometimes it doesn't go away. So it's really hard to say, how many people and at what point in their life they'll get it.
Okay.
But it's more common than you think.
Okay. Now, for me, I've just learned to live with it. A lot of people just kind of learn to live with it until it maybe gets to the point where it's interrupting my ability to hear and interact with folks?
So in the past, that has been kind of the venue that people have done, is just the doctors will tell you, sorry, there's nothing that can be done. And they are correct. There's nothing that can medically be done as far as surgery or medications. And when people see those drops they're putting in, no, that doesn't work. That is all external. It's out here.
Okay.
And the tinnitus is actually coming from the brain. So what's happening is, when we hear, and when we're younger, we get a full spectrum of sound, right? The sound from the left ear goes to the right side of the brain, the sound from the right ear goes to the left side of the brain, and then the two sides tell each other what's going on. So when we have a hearing loss, even a noise-induced hearing loss, where there's just a little portion of our brain that's not getting a full sound, the brain is still expecting a full sound, and when it doesn't get it, that extra energy is the ringing. So the ringing is actually a neural activity in the brain that's saying, I'm missing, and listen to me, pay attention, and sometimes...
So it's kind of filling in the blanks for us.
Well, or it's alerting you. No, it's like a signal waiting for an input, and it's not getting the input because there's loss. And so the brain is still waiting for it. So the ringing is there. So what's really exciting for us is that in the past, we had to say, just live with it. But now, Widex, one of our manufacturers of hearing aids, has a whole new system where they address it. They don't mask it like other manufacturers used to, but they actually address it. And I think Gabby can talk to you a little bit about the Zen therapy and what that is.
Yeah, amazing things for patients that I've seen in the office recently. Zen therapy takes different kind of fractal tones, right? It's a sound or a song, nothing that your brain can anticipate, and stimulating the nerve where you need the stimulation. That tells your brain, hey, you're gonna get what you need, let's calm down. We don't need to send this, annoying ringing or buzzing.
Really? Kind of like an acupuncture for the ear.
Kind of.
Right? Because acupuncture would be hitting the nerves and relieving that in some way, so that's kind of what's happening there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's happening with Widex is their software, it is a hearing aid, so you are wearing a hearing aid, but going back to your comment about I'm young, I don't have hearing loss, but I have ringing. We have patients now who come into the office just like that, but they have maybe a noise-induced hearing loss, like we said, just one frequency, or some medications have caused hearing loss, and it's minimal, right? So they can function, everything's fine. But the ringing causes them to want to go crazy. So we've had one patient come in, and her hearing is totally normal, but she said the head noises, I am not able to function. We put the devices on her, and instantly it went away. And she's like, no. So she took them off, the ringing was there. She put them back on, the ringing went away. And so her colleague came into the office for something for hearing and for hearing aids, and she said to me, and she is a different person. She's humming at work, she's pleasant. So here these devices are changing the way people perceive tinnitus.
Now, when we say head noises, is that a difference between tinnitus? Or
No, that's tinnitus.
So that's also part of it. So is it a different thing than the tone, or is it?
It's different for everybody.
Okay,
some people
okay.
get buzzing, some people get ringing, it's constant, it comes and goes, different pitches. So it's really different for everybody, which is why Widex is really kind of the latest and greatest, because it's kind of all encompassing for the different ways tinnitus presents itself.
Now, is it kind of an AI thing as well in terms of does it learn your tone, or can it learn anything, or is it's just doing the treatment and it's hitting in the right spots?
When we have a prescription, so the hearing test that we do is essentially your prescription, whether there's a tiny bit of loss or a whole lot of loss. We are prescribing the hearing aid and knows what levels we need the tones at.
Okay.
And then we're getting the appropriate stimulation that way.
So you have ability to kind of fine-tune it according to the patient and their loss.
Yes.
Right, and so along those same lines, that's why audiologists, having a master's or a doctorate degree in hearing science, we are the only ones who can treat tinnitus. A hearing aid dispenser cannot.
Right.
So even though a hearing aid dispenser might be able to dispense that hearing aid, they're not equipped to know physiologically what's happening in the body, and that's why we are more the specialist definitely for tinnitus
So
or tinnitus.
this isn't a Costco item anytime soon.
Never. Yep, never. And so just going back to kind of that Costco tone or that Costco thing, that's the difference between coming to Amazing Hearing. As audiologists, we are full spectrum for hearing. We do everything from preventative to counseling to fitting to tinnitus. So you're getting a different vibe and experience when you come into us rather than just purchasing a hearing aid.
Right. And how do you start the process? Is it making an appointment? I've got it, come on in, and you guys are going to fine tune us?
Definitely. So getting a baseline hearing test, let's first find out, is it hearing loss? Because if it's not, there's still, of course, the option, but checking medications, looking at diet, stress, all the things, we're going to walk you through every single step to kind of find out maybe why, and then also come up with a resolution and a plan together.
Okay, all right. And then before we go, I want to talk about your recycling program a little bit. So you guys are doing some good stuff there in the office.
Yeah, we're collecting plastic bottles and aluminum cans. So anything that has a California CRV on it, we don't take regular recycling, just the California CRV. But anybody can bring it in the office. You don't have to even be a patient, but we have lots of people dropping it off. We collect it, we're storing it locally, and then we're using the money to put in water wells in Uganda.
That's fantastic.
Yep, in the last 14 years, we put in 12 water wells just from this program.
Amazing. You guys are doing amazing work at Amazing Hearing. And
There you go.
real quick, is this covered by, I know it's pretty new, is it covered by any insurance yet in terms of prescription and that kind of thing?
If they have hearing aid coverage through their insurance, they may.
Oh, terrific.
And so it's always something to look into for sure.
Fantastic. From Amazing Hearing, Ann and Dr. Gabby, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll be talking to folks from the Democratic Club. Stay with us.